Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Identity of a Woman podcast. I am Chantel Branch, your domestic violence specialist, educating individuals on why their decision to remain silent keeps them locked in abuse. And welcome back to another show. Welcome back to the fall. Things are ramping up, kicking off as always. Through this pandemic, we never know what's going to happen on a weekly, a daily basis when large crowds gather or when small crowds gather. And although we've been through some trauma through the pandemic, we have also had some triumphs. And today's show, we're talking about coming through the storm, right? Coming through the trauma, breaking through the shell, the bondage, the stronghold, busting past the bricks, kicking down the doors, you know, literally being a dynamic trailblazer coming through the storm, what it looks like, what it feels like when you're coming through the storm. And today I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Myrie Hayes. She is the owner of Best Care Homes, and she is going to help us unpack what it's like to come through the storm, what it's like when you're feeling like you're ready to give up, and more on how she came to the point of her own discovery of self, her identity of a woman, and then also her purpose of today. So, hello, Myrie. How are you? Welcome to the Identity of a Woman podcast. Tell us more about you and, everything you got going on right now.
Hello. Hi. Okay, I'm Myrie Hayes. What I have going on right now, I am actually co-owner of a behavioral health group home organization called Best Care. When I say organization, I say that because we do group homes, but we also do consulting. We have Best Care Academy. We also have a nonprofit that gives back to the homeless and people dealing with mental health issues. So I got a lot going on. I also do, speaking engagements, coaching, business coaching, things like that. So yeah, so I am pretty busy.
Absolutely. So tell us how you got started in your business, like not just about your business, but what brought you to the point of where you are now and being a co-owner of Best Care.
Well, what I would say the reason why we got started is we had a sister who was, when I say we, my partner is my sister, and we had an older sister. I'll say this, it's 14 of us. So I'm from a big family, and we had an older sister that was bipolar schizophrenic. So she was dealing with mental issues my whole life. And so I had an assisted living. That was one of the business I had started. And honestly, it was successful, but I was not generating the income I wanted to generate. So my sister became ill. She developed bladder cancer. And so she jumped on a plane in her manic, and she knew I had this assisted living. She flew to Arizona from Kansas City, and she came and told me I was going to take care of her. And so me and my sister Kay, we took care of her until she passed away 3 months later. And it's like back to back to back. I had multiple people in my assisted living that passed away. And with me being an empath and just feeling all that energy from different people coming into the house when people were, passing, I just decided to change my home and deal with people with mental illness because I knew, based on my sister experience, that they needed help too.
Okay, so walk us through what it's like, or maybe let's backtrack a little bit. When your family, your parents discovered that your sister, was bipolar, Like how did that impact your family? What the if you do remember, what were their reactions? How did they accept it, or how did they go about, because it was a different time, it's a different age, it wasn't talked about. Now
Exactly.
we're talking about it. Now, if you look like you gonna cough differently than everybody, we need to just get you checked out right away, because we want to we want to get it on the front end versus the back end. And we have way more information now than we had 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So how did
Yes.
that impact your parents, and then how did it impact you as a sibling and your other siblings?
It impacted my parents. I'll put it this way. Okay. My dad was a preacher. I'm a preacher's kid. My dad was a bishop, heavily into Church of God in Christ. It was treated as demonic. My sister was, my dad would do things because his understanding, based on his experiences and his past, that was demonic. It was a spirit that was controlling her. And so when I was younger, the way it impacted me as a child, I was scared of her. At first, because things she used to do, I was like, I didn't understand it. I was scared. I was frightened. And that's kind of how we handled it in the beginning, but it really impacted our family to the point, because she would be fine. She was very smart, um, a military vet, and she handled her business when she was in her right mind. But then when she would fly off the handle, it's like you would be in a car with her, she would get on the highway driving the wrong way. So it would just go from one, where she's this perfect citizen till she was doing all kind of crazy things. And
So
so,
let me ask
go
you
ahead.
this. What age did your family discover that the diagnosis, or what age was she diagnosed at?
On my remembrance, she was around 30. Because
Okay,
it
so he
was
was a full
before
adult.
she had her. Yeah, she had her first son when she was older, and it was right before she had him, her only son. Sorry, not first son. But yeah, so it was a lot. It's like she after she had served the military, everything, and she came back, she had a government job, and then she just started doing things that we started to notice. And like I said, I was just scared. There's a big age difference.
I was just
When
gonna
my
just ask
sister
you, what
passed,
was the age gap
yeah,
between you and your sister?
about 22 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's a
right.
big age difference between us because she was the oldest, um,
Oldest.
the
Okay.
oldest girl, the second child. I'm the last child of 14. So there was like
Okay.
a real big difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as a young girl, as many young girls, we look up to our older sisters. We love them to death. We want to wear their clothes, we want to wear their
Yeah.
makeup. We want to be like them in a sense, depending on what they're doing. And so even as it relates to your other siblings, your older siblings who are also younger than her, how did that change the family dynamic once everybody found out that she was suffering from a mental illness and it was really heavily impacting her life?
People didn't want to deal with her. Just honestly, that's people didn't want to deal with her because she would hit people just out of the blue. So a lot of the family, a lot of the siblings kind of shunned her initially. Now as she got older and saw help, then we had a different relationship. But like I said, me myself, I was frightened of her. And I know my older sister, she she ended up slapping her, and my older sister's like this real girly, girly girl type sister, and she assaulted her, and so she cut her off. So it was kind of isolating in a sense. Like she was isolated for a while in the family. Yeah.
Wow, wow. And that impacts her, and it absolutely impacted her identity.
It
It
did.
impacted her
It did.
identity when she was manic, and it impacted her
Yeah.
identity when she wasn't.
Yes.
Um,
And I think she sought, because she ended up being married like 5 times. So she sought attention from other places because she didn't
mhm.
have that, family that, you would normally have. With us being a big family and being so close, it wasn't a good thing, you know.
So how was it with your mom? Was your mom always, because moms, we look at our children and everybody's different and different personalities. And even as we are watching them grow, we may know that, well, this kid is great in this particular area, or they're just a social butterfly and then you have maybe another kid that's more of an introvert. Was mom kind of aware of this and maybe protective of her during these times, or was it because it was so many of you all, mom depended on her to help with everybody else?
She did depend on her when I was younger, but as time grew on, I think she ended up being like more protective of her, trying to help her more because she had been through so many bad marriages where, there was domestic violence, things like trying to take her child from her, and things like that, which is understandable because, like I said, she was really great when she was not in her manic state. But once she got in her manic state, it was like she protected her child, she loved her child, she took care of him, but people were scared because she would just, jump into a car and take off and things like that. So yeah, I think
Absolutely.
later on my mom more so protected her up until the end. And she would always try to be there for her, go to her appointments with her, and just assist her.
Ah, I love it. I mean, I love that
Yeah.
part because that's what moms do. We see
We
we see
jump
the need,
in.
and we jump in like, not my baby. I don't care if she is 30, not my baby.
Right.
And so that's the beautiful part of it, that she did still have that support and that safety net to fall into, even if she couldn't get it from everybody, right? She
Hmm.
still had her number one, her first teacher that she still could get
Yeah.
that love and that support from, which was very, very important. And then I heard you say that she called you and said, "You're going to take care of me." Do you think that that was coincidence, or was that a divine appointment?
It was divine, you know? It was divine because her son and his wife were not understanding what she was dealing with. He would get frustrated with her and things like that. And I felt like in the home that I had, the assisted living, that I was giving people the best care, that I could possibly give, me and my partner at the time. And so I felt like that's why she called me. And then to me, it was a blessing. Because even with her in her manic state, sorry, I get emotional when I talk about her. But when she came to me, she said, "How much do you charge? Because I pay my way." So even in
Yeah,
her manic, she was always the type of person that paid her way, had a job, even, she would go through her periods, but she was such a good worker when she wasn't going through it that they would give her the time she needed to have off. So it was just like, I felt like it was a divine assignment because she blessed me by being there. She blessed my house. And then, like I said, afterwards, we changed it over to mental health. I felt like that was her blessing, and we have built a multi-million dollar business, to where before when I had the assistant living, we were barely getting by. So
wow,
I
wow.
feel
That
like
was
she blessed
absolutely,
me.
yes, divine appointment. Absolutely divine appointment. Your divine assignment, because we set out to go one way, and then it's amazing how God will just do one thing, and just that one thing can come into our life and literally change the direction of the way that we were going. And that just opened
Yes.
up so much revenue for you. But then it
Yeah.
also, you grew up in a sense, watching it. Even though you were a little girl, it still was close at hand to you, you know.
Yes.
And so you
And it gives,
understood it from a family perspective, as well
yes.
as you understand it from a provider perspective, and then you understand from a patient, so you got to see full circle. I understand how the family is hard to deal with a person who is having these episodes. And then I understand it because this person is still such a good person. She has such a wonderful heart. She is not, she may seem over the top, when she is going through, when she's manic, but when she is not, she's just this wonderful person, right? And
Yep.
then also as a provider, you know what they need and you can anticipate they need versus, oh, I'm just going to open this up and then all of the problems just come flying at you, where you were able to kind of go into this direction with a plan.
Yes. Exactly. Because I'm just like a lot of the clients that the insurance companies send us are people that are like hard to handle. Their families don't communicate with them because of things they're done that they have done in the past. And so it just gives us a heart to deal with the people in their issues, in their manic state, whatever they're going through. It gives us that love and that support to give to them because of her, you know because we never want to make somebody feel like ostracized or isolated, or like they don't have someone they can turn to. So in the community, the behavioral health community, they know if we can't get somebody to take a hard client, call best care, because we're going to give them, like I said, the best care.
And I believe that, and I love the fact, and so I want to ask you, can you and do you believe that because of the care that you provide, and do you believe that over time, within the next 2 to 3 decades, that if we have a guideline and we have curriculum, that when the signs of a person who has bipolar or schizophrenia or any of the mental health issues are displayed early on in life, that we can teach the families how to deal and to live
Yes.
better and cohesively, so that in 30, 40, 50 years, um we're not faced with the same issues of mental health that we are faced with today, because we have a better handle on them and we know how to work cohesively and live cohesively together.
Yes, I do believe that. I do believe if you teach people and give them the tools and the skills that they need, that we can totally make a difference. I mean, that's kind of why in our business structure we've only dealt with 18 and older. Now we just created our first kids home because we're like, if we can get the families early, the kids early, before they even reach adulthood, and give the parents the skills and give that child the skills to let them know, it's okay that you have to take medication to keep you stable. These are the tools that you need that are going to help you to be, a functioning adult where you can live on your own, you know, because we've had adults that came into our care and now they are living, in their own apartment on their own. They're taking care of themselves. And that is the goal, you know? So, yeah, I definitely
Absolutely.
believe.
And so, what kind of workers are you looking for? Because I love the program. I see a huge expansion on this kind of program, so that you have daily classes that once somebody enrolls into your program, they're enrolling for the client, that family is also a client. Like, you need to come in and take these mandatory classes so that
Yeah.
you know how to deal, how to handle, how to have a good visit. Or
Yes.
if they're manic during the visit, you still know how to communicate effectively versus being upset, being impatient, losing your temper, being angry, resentful, bitter, mad because you came to visit the person or the child, and
Mhm.
oh my God, he's just so bad, instead of and changing that narrative, um,
Yes. Yeah.
so my next question is, do you think, or what, like, yeah, so my question is, what kind of work is it? Human service workers? Is it social workers,
It's
counselors? Like, what do you need to blow this program up? Because I believe if we start at the beginning, we
uh-huh.
can, because we can care for the older adults, we can care for the adults, but if we can start at the
Mhm.
beginning and teach the children, like you were saying,
Yes.
they can be
Yes.
the adults that comes back
Yes.
into the care system and say, hey,
And work.
I am
Yes.
just like you.
Yes.
you know
Yes. So
I
those
had
are
issues
called
just like
peer.
you. Yeah.
Those are called peer support workers. We have
Okay.
one currently. Um, we would love to have more of those people that have actually been through it, that are on their medications. Everything is regulated, and they are able to work, a regular job on a day to day. Definitely peer support, caregivers. Now we do take certified caregivers. So we have a certified caregiver class. You're not required to take it through us, but we would like to have certified caregivers working in the homes. And then we
What
do
does it mean
also,
to be certified? Is it knowing CPR?
you
Is
go through,
what do you want them to know, or should they have an
we,
idea before they go in, is what I mean.
oh, okay. In Arizona, they actually have a class. They teach you things like how to care for a client, how to give medication, um, the different, boundaries that you have to keep. So it's a whole class that you have to take to be a certified caregiver. So when I say certified in Arizona, there is an actual class and certification. It can take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on where you go, and the cost is different. I think the lowest I saw was 500. The highest was like 1,800. So it kind of depends on where you go. And then a BHT, which is a behavioral health technician. Those are normally people that have worked in like a behavioral hospital. They have the training and the skills that they need, and then they can transition over to a group home and work as a BHT. They know how to give medications, things like that. So that would be kind of like the third tier. And then we do need counselors, social workers. Social workers, depending on what level you're at, you can be a BHP, which is a behavioral health professional, and you can do oversight over the BHTs, the caregivers, all of that. So that is more of kind of like a licensed social worker. That would take you maybe 2 to 3 years to get things like that. Right now, we do have two BHPs on our team, and we are looking because we are expanding. We just bought a city block in Globe, and we are doing a 56-bed facility. So we do need workers.
That is amazing. That is amazing. We need that. We need that in every state across America, 10
Yes.
times. And hey, people that love to help people that are listening, and you are, or you have a family member that keep wanting to help you, okay.
There
Alrighty,
you go.
guys. I am back. I am back. Sorry about that, guys. But I was saying, if you are in the audience and you are listening and you always love to help people, or if you are in the audience, you have a family member and you wonder, how can I help my family member? I really want to help them. They're shunned by the family. People don't want to deal with them. But when I talk to, that particular family member, we have great conversations. I just want to be able to help them. The behavioral health jobs. It is a field with a wide open market. Am I not wrong?
Yes.
Because
Yes, it is
everybody want to be a
growing.
doctor and a nurse and a lawyer, but listen. behavioral health jobs are growing, and I think it's a stigma behind the jobs because I think people watch movies and you think that you're going to be working in the psychiatric ward on a hospital
Yeah,
and the people
that's
going to
not
be,
true.
and it's not true. And it's
It's
not
not.
true.
Yeah, we haven't had I could count on my on one hand how many incidents we've had where somebody was violent, and we have on a daily basis 56 56 clients that we take care of right now. So, like I said, and we've been in business 4 years. And I think in my mind, I can only think of two incidents. And it wasn't where someone, you know, was severely hurt. It was just a point in someone, I guess reaching out and hitting twice. So it's very rare. The people, if you show them love and respect, they're going to
Yes,
show you love and respect back,
yes.
and even the person that assaulted someone, they begged us, please don't kick me out, I'm sorry, so it's like it doesn't happen that much.
And we need this in our communities across the United States.
Yes.
And if you know you have a family member that all they do is sit on the couch, maybe go to the store, maybe go to the park, but once they've reached the level of 18 and you know nobody is helping them expand their reach on life, you know that that family member needs help. You know that they need a program, and then you also know that you have a heart for this kind of work, and
Yes.
you need to be applying. And I love the fact that she said you have to be certified. So you can be as nice as you want to be, but you need to get the certifications. And 1 year, 2 years, 3 years goes by really, really fast because think about it. We've been in a pandemic for almost 2 years. It is coming up on us for 2 years. So people have gone back to school, they have started businesses, and you have a heart for people and you have the talent and the ability to work in this particular field, make the decision to apply. And so, my next question is just to go deeper into it, help us understand what it's like when you're dealing with someone who is manic.
Well, I mean, in most cases, it's going to be you're going to be able to tell because this person is going to be acting abnormal from their what we call baseline. So that baseline might be, like you said, someone that's just quiet. Or I would say my sister, she would go to work every day. She was very clean. She was a very clean, neatly dressed person. The way we would know she was manic, she would start not combing her hair. She would stop taking showers. She would it would go from one extreme, I guess, to the next extreme. They'll say things out of the way. They get caught up a lot in their head. Um, Things that you want to do is if they're on medication, check to see if they're taking their medication. Try to get them to go into the hospital to get some help so they can get their medication regulated, get them, back on their meds. So that's something that you can do. Do not get upset with them, because that tends to um, bring up their defenses, get them riled up, and then they may become violent. So you want to stay calm. You want to talk to them calmly. Sometimes you might just have to walk away. A lot of times in, dealing with people in the group homes, they might be upset. And I'll say, you know what? Right now, I'm not going to talk to you until you calm down. So I'm going to go over here, or I'm going to go out on the patio. When you're ready to talk to me, you come out there, and you just step away and give them some breathing room. You know, Once they're okay, then they calm down. But and then sometimes I know they're adults, the people that we deal with, but sometimes because their safe space and their own space is their room, sometimes you need to say, maybe you need to go to your room and regroup. So things like that, just to calm them down, and then maybe come back together and do something that they like to do. If you know the person is a craft person, get the crafts out, sit down and start doing the crafts. They might be upset, and then they see you, oh, well, they making jewelry, and they'll come mad, start making jewelry, and then you talk to them, talk to them low. It'll change their whole, it will. It changes their whole demeanor because you're doing something that they like to do. So you got to
Mhm.
come up with things like that to bring them down. And then once they have calmed down, you're able to communicate better. But never go to them like, oh, if they're riled up, don't go to them riled up. That's going to turn into a bad situation. But that comes
Got
along
it.
with training. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And if you think about it, the average parent just doesn't know.
Yeah,
They
that's
just
true.
don't know. And are there different ages of when signs? Are people born this way? Or is it some chemical imbalance? Maybe if the parent was using substances, or if it
It
runs
could
in
be all of that.
families.
Yeah,
Okay.
it could be all of that. It could be hereditary. It could be from prior drug use. It could be, and the adult. Like, I have been around a lot of adults with substance abuse, and it throws off something in their brain, and now they are, you know, labeled as severely mentally ill. And it was just because they used, meth or fentanyl now, so it could be a lot of things. But yeah, you
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
you
Those
just have
drugs,
to.
they really
Yes.
get in there. And if you're already carrying that gene, it may just be dormant, right? Because it's not
Yeah.
a dominant gene, but you are carrying that particular gene, especially when you think about schizophrenia, how it skips
Mhm.
generations. And
Right.
then you are young, you hanging out with friends. And I mean, I don't know if we've all seen it, but I've definitely seen it where somebody was just fine all of their life. And then they start messing around with some drugs. And
Hmm.
this one particular time, maybe it was a bad batch of drugs, and it changed their life forever. And they have just never been the same. And now
Yes.
they are diagnosed with a mental illness or schizophrenia,
Yes.
bipolar, or whatever it is. And we always wonder, and I think now it's more becoming more prevalent and more known as far as
Mhm.
the knowledge about mental illness. But we always wonder, well, what happened to him? What's wrong? And we all
Mhm.
make assumptions. Well, maybe it was drugs. Well, they were abused at home, or maybe they had a bad experience, and so we make up all of this stuff. But it really could be a gene that you already have, the
Mhm.
chemicals that hit your brain in such a way and activated it. And so
Yep. I was
now,
gonna.
now
Yeah.
we don't know what in your brain was activated. The scientists, they want to know, but they don't know
They
yet.
don't.
And unless you're ready to sit up under and let them pull apart your whole brain to figure
Hmm.
out what one receptor opened up that should have been closed, and then for them
Hmm.
to figure out how to close it, So
Yeah.
I'm just saying all that to say, don't use drugs, everybody.
Right.
Drugs are
Yeah.
bad.
But it could be all of that. But we are seeing people diagnosed right now. I mean, the youngest I've seen is 4 years old.
Wow. With
Yeah.
what? Bipolar, manic, or
Yeah. Schizophrenia.
schizophrenia?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. Like right now, we talked with the insurance company a couple of weeks ago, and that's what they were asking. Can you guys develop a home for like 4 to 7 year olds?
Yes,
I'm like,
yes, yes.
I don't even know if we want to go, because right now we're doing like 12 to 17.
Hmm.
I don't know. I
I mean, you
mean,
would definitely
that's
need like a whole bunch of, you would need
yes,
psychologists, you would need people that
everything.
everything, people that
Yeah.
specifically studying children ages 4 to 7, like
Yes.
you would
Yes.
need child care workers,
Hmm.
people who you would need everything.
Yeah, and a big
You
need
would need
is girls. too.
Yes,
Girls.
girls.
It's
Wow.
a big
Girls.
need. Girls. Yeah.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
homes just for girls. Yeah, they're
Mm.
sending right now in Arizona, they're sending people out of state because they don't have
Wow.
enough homes. They're sending people
Wow.
to Vegas. You know, they're sending them to Kansas City because they don't have
Wow.
anywhere to house them. It's a lot.
Wow. Man, that is wow. This is I've learned a lot. I don't know about you guys, but I am learning so much. And this is a conversation that we just don't talk deep enough. We hit the surface of mental illness, but this like you really opened my eyes. I'm like, nah, I want the people to come out, go get a job, go and get a behavioral health job, go to
Yes.
school and get some type of schooling so that you can get this job to help because there's a need. You just heard her. There are little girls ages 4 to 7 years old that need a place. They need
Hmm.
care. And mom
Yeah,
and dad, we don't all, I know I don't know. And a lot of times we don't learn until that problem directly hits our home.
exactly. Yep.
That's when we learn. We don't learn because we want to learn. We learn because we have to learn.
Yes.
And then we deal with our own emotions. The parent goes through the 7 stages of grief. We didn't even hit on that because and that
Mhm.
may they may be in that for 7 to 10 years, and the child 10 years old, and we still don't know what's wrong with them. They haven't gotten the help that they need because mom and dad are still struggling with themselves.
With trauma, right? That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
like it's just such a big need because there's so many parents that are dealing with their own trauma, and then you have a child that's dealing with, behavioral issues, and it's like you're just like, oh, I have had a couple of parents like, oh, they're bad, and they're not bad children. They're just dealing
Mm-hmm.
with their own issues like you are, but they're a child, so they don't know how.
Absolutely.
Adults barely know how.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. So I just want to switch gears a little bit and just tell us what I know you said like your sister came to you and she said, you're going to take care of me. Like, how did that happen because you guys are 22 years apart? Like, it had to be
Right.
something that she saw in you and was like, you going to take care of me, girl.
Well, she would always tell me, because like I said, she was so much older than me. When my mom actually got pregnant with me, she told my mom that was supposed to be my baby. So we always had, a special relationship. Um, and I always respected her because she was so smart and such a strong woman, and just with everything that she was dealing with, when she was okay, she would really work hard to keep it together, and then she would feel all right on her medication and she would come off of it. So I mean, I guess the love was there because I was the baby,
Hmm.
and she felt like I should have been her child because she was married at the time and my mom got pregnant. She's like,
Hmm.
you 41, what you doing having a baby,
Hmm.
But yeah, it just, like I said, I felt like it was an honor, for her to just think of me. And then I guess because I'm a caregiver and she knows that, so she was just like, jumped on a plane. She had her Bible in her purse. That was it.
Wow.
She left
That's
church,
it.
bought a
Wow.
ticket, left church,
Mm.
jumped on a plane, and was just like, "You gonna take care of me." And when she
Wow.
came to us, she didn't have her medication. She didn't have any clothes. She didn't have anything. So we had to
Mm.
take her to the VA to get her meds. We had to buy her clothes. So it was like maybe she felt like she didn't have a choice.
Mm.
But I know that was God because she blessed my house. That's all. She literally, all the clients I had in there, it's like she touched all of them because she was that type of person. And then she blessed my house. And it's like ever since. my life has not been the same. I can do whatever I want to do now, you know?
Has it so during the time that she was there, and you said it was 4 months or 3 months?
3 months. She passed away
Three
in three
months.
months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
When, at what point did your epiphany happen and you were like, I am done with just the regular home care. I'm going toward behavioral health. Like when did you get that epiphany?
Okay. So she passed away, and then I had another lady that was in the next room. She passed away. And then my client, which was my first client, she had been with me the whole time. And her family was like, I don't care what y'all charge, what y'all do. She's going to be here. She's okay. If y'all price go up, we're going to pay it. You know, it was that type of relationship
Mm-hmm.
where she would bring her grandkids would come to see us. Her kids would come. Her daughter's ex-husband, it was that type of
Wow.
relationship.
Yeah. Wow.
And when she passed, when Miss Alice passed, it did me in. I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was too sad, too much. It was just, so I was just like, I'm done. But in the spirit of I'm a caregiver, it's like, I got to think of something to do. And then, like I said, that's what came. It was like Hattie was telling me, that was my older sister name. She was just like, behavioral health, deal with people with mental issues. And I was like, okay. So we're gonna work on the castaways, the people that, people, family members have said, I don't want to deal with you. We're gonna bring them in, we're gonna love them, we're gonna care for them. And so
Yes.
that's when I
And
had it.
it's a cycle because the ones that were cast out will now go back and help bring up the younger kids
Yes.
who have unfortunately like the potential to be cast out, like they're on their way to being cast out. They're really, almost at the parents don't know what to do, so it's kind of like
Yes.
they're heading in that direction. But the people, like the peer support, can come in and
Mhm.
be that support, to be that safety net to catch them. And that's what best care sounds like it does, which is amazing. I'm excited
Yeah.
that this program is around. I mean, we need it in all 50 states.
I know we
Yeah,
always have people who's like, can y'all create something new? And I'm like, it's a lot. Once you get so big, it's kind of hard to handle, with it being you're
absolutely.
dealing with people's lives. So I'd rather be good at one state, be great at one state, than just to be everywhere and not really be making an impact.
I absolutely understand. So tell us, how can we find you? How can we connect with you and all that other good stuff?
Okay, so you can visit our website, bestcarehomes.com. We have information updated on that site. You can actually apply through the site. You can reach out to us. Now, me personally, I am on Facebook under Myrie Hayes. That's Myrrie. Last name is Hayes, Hayes. I am also on LinkedIn as Myrie Hayes, Twitter as Myrie Hayes. I am on Instagram as My Reasons Why. So, because I show all my reasons why that I do what I do. So it's MYREESONSWY. I'm sorry, WHY. My reasons why. So you can reach out to us on all those different platforms, or you can actually call our office. The number is 602-675-1686. We have a great team that will assist you with any questions that you have. And, you know, and we're all about building relationships. So, yeah, reach out.
Amazing, amazing. About the programs that are out here that are helping people. And
Yes.
so I am so grateful for you that you are on a show. And my last question or phrase that or statement that I would like for you to close us out with is if you could say anything to the parents or the family members, what would you say?
I would say, I'll quote a scripture. Let love be without assimilation, abhor which is evil, cleave to what is good. So if this is your child, if this is your family member, just love them, you know, just love them. Whatever that love is to you, whatever, however you can do that, just love people. It is so important because there's so many people out here that are hurting that just need somebody to be in their corner and to show them some love. So I would say that. And please let me thank you, Chantel, for everything you do. I love it. I love it. You're such a good host. I
Oh,
just wanted
thank
to let
you.
you
Thank
know that.
you. Thank you. Well, guys, that is our show for today. I am so excited. I hope you guys join us again next time for a wonderful show. I always have a great guest, and we always have wonderful topics. So, this is the Identity of a Woman podcast, and I am your host, Chantel Branch, and I will catch you guys again next time. You guys have a great day.